You are not burnt out. You just lack inspiration. It is not that you need to stop what you're doing and pump the brakes completely and just go on autopilot and rest. Sometimes that is what you need. But sometimes even doing that, resting and turning your brain up, sometimes that doesn't even feel good. Sometimes that's still uncomfortable. Sometimes that's because you really haven't gotten that break. Sometimes it's because you have been on autopilot in terms of being constantly productive. You've been hustling, you've been grinding, whatever. Sometimes there are people that genuinely do not know how to give themselves a break. And to that I say, do nothing, right? Give your body some time to catch up with you. But for some of us, we don't need to be listening to advice that says, just do nothing. Just give yourself a break. Just like pat yourself on the back, like, you're good. No, 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 no. I think that our society has become way too comfortable letting people just rot. Letting their brains just become vegetables. You are a vegetable. Michael Jackson, okay? Genuinely, you need to be learning something new. It can be as simple as, I'm going to learn how to make a new soup recipe. As adults, we are responsible for creating the magic in our lives now. When we were kids, the adults were the ones that were doing the talking, the strokes. Okay, the adults were the ones that were creating the magic and the whimsy in the world. And I would say kids inherently do have that childlike, whimsical nature. But like, the adults were the ones that were telling us the stories that made life seem so much more colorful and brighter. And then when you become an adult, especially when your frontal lobe develops, frontal lobe stories, right? When you reach 25, all of a sudden, especially when you get to your Saturn return girlies, hey. So that's like around 27 through like 30. Everything becomes very gray. It's like you're looking out at the world and everything's in black and white. And you think back to your youth and you're like, everything used to seem so much more colorful and rainbowy and magical. And, you know, life is so boring now. Life is like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. Our collective imagination, like, what happened to that? What happened to it? I feel like we have become so complacent. You know what I mean? Like, so many people around here, like, you know, like, manifest your dream man, manifest, you know, this amount of dollars. Like, why don't you manifest your creative fucking, you know, spiritual awakening? Like, why don't you manifest a better world? I feel like you have to learn how to romanticize your life. They don't say that. Like, a huge part of being an adult is learning how to not only romanticize your life, but also to, like, find magic again. You know? Like, a lot of people, when they reach a certain age, have kind of lost that magic. And a lot of people say, you know, that also can also just feel like you've lost inspiration. And sometimes you do just have to, like, live like an old person. I found, like, the easiest way to romanticize your life is to do things that don't require any technology. So, like, do some Sudoku, right? Do something that maybe is, like, making you feel like it's, like, you know, you're in the early 2000s, right? When I feel like that was the perfect time in society when there was, like, a great balance between technology and real human life. So do something, an activity that is reminiscent of that era. Like, do what you need to do. Live like a grandma. Grandma activities are so healing to the soul. You know what I mean? Just like walking around your house late at night with a candle in your hand, you know what I mean? With some slippers and a robe, reading a book with, like sewing, embroidery, like those types of things, genuinely the smallest things, are in my opinion, acts of rebellion. To like, it genuinely feels like I feel so edgy and rebellious when I'm doing something that doesn't require like AI or getting lost in a doom scroll. Like, it's crazy how so many people have lost the ability to just like write a fucking paragraph by themselves. Lost the ability to write. Pull out your fucking journal and I think that consumerism has put us in this very meaningless place that a lot of us need to unlearn. This nihilistic attitude, this kind of nonchalant, ironic attitude about anything and everything. Like, we need, especially the younger generations, really need to unlearn this. Like, the point of life is actually like making connections with other people. Go outside and talk to a stranger. Because I think a lot of people get so caught up in like online discourse. Conversations that people are having online do not matter in the real world. Absolutely no shade. Not to lose some of you, but like, compliment a stranger, right? Go people watch. I just think that it's an act of rebellion to do some of these things, not to be dramatic, but like, we need to be humans. We need to be grounded. We need to be outside every day. We need to be moving our bodies. I just think that things have become too easily acquired. Everything is so fast. Everything, you know, if you want food, you can order it and it's at your door immediately. If you want to, you know, have a relationship, you can just scroll endlessly on Tinder or some dating app and just find some random person. I think that in general, delayed gratification is something that like a lot of us need more of. If you want entertainment, you can just scroll online for hours, right? Like, for most of humanity, this was not something we were exposed to. I think a lot of us are finding ourselves with fried nervous systems. Our nervous systems are fried. We are anxious. A lot of people are depressed. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are having a lot of fucking issues. A lot of people are feeling isolated from society, from connections with other people. We are more and more isolated every single year. You know what I mean? And there's lots of different demographics, but at the end of the day, it's like, nature on Earth is slow moving. It takes a while for seasons to change. You know what I mean? It takes a while for plants to grow out of the fucking ground. It requires patience and slowness, and as humans, we are a part of nature. We belong to the earth. We are Earth's creatures. So we need to remember to ground ourselves. A lot of people have forgotten to take care of how to take care of their basic needs. Your basic needs as a human being are going to always come back to consistency, slowness, and patience. Like, those are built into our DNA. Consistency is really the biggest one. Routine. Like, that's just how nature works. That's how our bodies work. Curiosity is the only way. Being curious about the world, being curious about ourselves, and constantly discovering ourselves. That is the only way. Society has set so many restrictions in place to keep people from doing what they actually want to be doing. But now more than ever, we have to be taking small steps towards touching more grass and creating the magic in our lives that we are seeking.